Now in this video lecture we will talk about stereoisomerism. In the previous video lecture we have understood structural isomerism and we saw that how a different arrangement of atoms in a molecule give rise to different structures, different chemical structures, right, that result into altogether a different compound that has different physical and chemical properties, right. In structural isomerism mainly we were looking at how atoms are connected to one another, right, and how bonds, say a double bond, right, is arranged between two atoms. For example, if you have, say, this carbon atom, this chain of carbon atom, say you have double bond between these two carbon atoms, right, in one isomer, and in another isomer you have, I take this double bond, or this double bond is present between these two carbon atoms. So here the position of double bond is changing, right, which give rise to structural isomerism. It's a different structure, right. So it's, these two are structural isomers, right. To be specific, this was position isomerism, right, where the position of double bond is changing. Now suppose I take bromine atom, right, I connect it to carbon number 1, right, I take another atom, I connect this bromine atom to 4th carbon atom, right. So here the connectivity between atoms differs, right. Here bromine atom was connected to carbon number 1, here bromine atom was connected to carbon number 4, right. So this is a different chemical structure, right. So these two are structural isomerism, which differs in the position of bromine atom. Now in this video lecture we would be looking at stereoisomerism. In stereoisomerism, the arrangement or the connections between atoms is same, right. How they are connected, the atoms that are connected to one another is same, right. For example, by same I mean that if this is your compound, say, right, here these two atoms A and B are connected to this carbon atom, right. Maybe in another isomer that has the same chemical formula, we are looking at mainly the spatial arrangement, how these atoms are arranged in space in stereoisomerism. In stereoisomerism, the word stereo means space, right. And when we talk about space in organic chemistry, we mean the arrangement of atoms or groups in space, how these atoms are arranged in space with respect to one another, right. So here chemical structure would be same because atoms are connected in the same way, but how they are arranged in space, right, how they are oriented in space is different. For example, this is one form of isomer, this is another form. Here in both the molecules A and B are connected to this carbon atom only, right. Here also A and B are connected to this carbon atom only, but their arrangement in space differs. You can see here A is connected above and here A is below, right. So their arrangement, right, in space is different, right. Arrangement of atoms or groups in space differs in case of stereoisomerism, and this one particular arrangement of atoms, right, is called as a configuration, right. So in stereoisomerism you have different configuration and each configuration give rise to a particular isomer, right. So the spatial arrangement of atoms or groups in a molecule, right, you can see these two are different molecules, but the spatial arrangement of atom differs, right. So spatial arrangement, this is one particular configuration of A and B atoms, right, around this double bond. This is one particular configuration of A and B atoms, right. You can see both differs, right? So one particular arrangement of atom, right, or groups in a molecule is configuration, right? So this is one particular configuration and this is another configuration, right? These two are different configuration, in which in these two configuration arrangement of atoms, right, or groups in space differs. You can very easily see the arrangement of atoms differs. So arrangement of atoms or groups in space differs, right, which give rise to different configurations, which give rise to different configurations, right? So this is your stereoisomerism, right? So what all we can conclude from here is that these two molecules, right, have same molecular formula, they have same structures, they have same chemical structures. Why? Because they are similarly connected. Here A and B are connected to the same carbon atom, here also A and B are connected to the same carbon atom. So they have same chemical structure but different space orientation. That is, how they are oriented in space with respect to one another is different, right? So same molecular formula, same structure but different space orientation give rise to stereoisomerism. Stereo means space. So these isomers differ with respect to their atoms or groups in space, right? So this is your stereoisomerism, right? Stereoisomers, from this we conclude that stereoisomers have same molecular formula, have same chemical structure, but how the atoms in a molecule are arranged in space is different, right? Now we would be going through two types of stereoisomerism. First is your geometrical isomerism and the other is your optical isomerism, right? We have these two types of stereoisomerism. In this video lecture, we will go through geometrical isomerism in detail, right? Now, geometrical isomerism, what gave rise to geometrical isomerism? So, whenever we are talking about any type of stereoisomerism, just look from the perspective of how atoms are arranged differently in space or around a double bond, right, or around any atom. You can see how some atoms are arranged differently. They are connected similarly. The connections are same, but the orientation would be different, right? In case of stereoisomerism. Whereas in case of structural isomerism, the connections were different. Like I said, bromine in one isomer was connected to carbon number 1. In another isomer it's connected to carbon number 4, or the position of double bond is moving between different carbon atoms, right? So their chemical structures were different. Here chemical structures are same, the connections are same, but what differs is how they are arranged in space, right? Their space, the space that atoms occupy, right, in space differs. Here A is occupying a space which is above B. Here A is occupying space which is below B, right? So these two are different configuration, because what is configuration? Arrangement of atoms in a molecule, right? Spatial arrangement. Spatial arrangement of atoms in a molecule is configuration. So this is a different configuration, this is a different configuration. These two are stereoisomers, right? Now, the first type of isomerism that we will look at is your geometrical isomerism. Geometrical isomerism is found in those compounds that have carbon-carbon double bond, or maybe a double bond between carbon and nitrogen, or a double bond between nitrogen nitrogen, right? So majorly we will first look at those stereoisomers that have carbon carbon double bond and what give rise to the fixed arrangement of atoms in space. Because when we are talking about stereoisomers, that means we have one sort of arrangement in which the space orientation of atoms is of one type, right, is of one configuration, where atoms have one type of configuration in one isomer, in another isomer we have a different type of orientation, right? And why these two orientation do not interchange, we need to look at that also, right? So the topic is, now we have geometrical isomerism. Geometrical isomerism. Geometrical isomerism is in those compounds that have carbon carbon double bond, right? First condition is you should have a carbon carbon double bond. And what give rise to these types of isomers, right, which is present in those compounds that have carbon carbon double bond, is their restricted rotation or hindered rotation around carbon carbon double bond, right? For example, if you have this compound, right, like I said, this is one form and this is your another isomer, right? You can see in one isomer you have these two atoms AA on same side of the double bond, right? In another isomer you have different atoms on the same side of the double bond, right? Or you can take it like this. Let me just should be like this, right? Here you have same atoms on the same side of the double bond. Here you have different atoms, right? Here you have same atoms. It's like this, sorry, right? Here you have same atoms on the opposite side. You can see how these are differently arranged around this carbon carbon double bond, right? Here you have different atoms on the same side of the double bond and same atoms in the opposite side, right? Same atoms are opposite to one another. Here you have same atoms on the same side of the double bond, right? So this is one particular configuration, this is a different configuration, right? And you can imagine one thing, right? If it rotates, like if I rotate this carbon atom, this will go up, this will come down, right? It would be then same, it will take this form, right? But this does not happen, right? And this does not happen because this carbon cannot rotate, right, to give this configuration. This form cannot, in this form the carbon carbon double bond, the rotation is not possible around carbon carbon double bond. If rotation would have been possible, it would have changed into this molecule, right? It would have, this configuration would have taken this configuration, but this rotation is not possible, right, due to the presence of carbon carbon double bond. Now how this rotation is restricted? We call it as restricted or hindered rotation. Restricted or hindered rotation around carbon carbon double bond. Why we have restricted or hindered rotation? The simple answer, if I give you, is due to the presence of pi bond between carbon carbon atoms, right? Now let's see how pi bond hinders this rotation. right? If we look into these types of molecule here, carbon atom is sp2 hybridized. Here carbon atom, both these carbon atoms are sp2 hybridized. If you remember, we have done in chemical bonding, in sp2 hybridization we have one p orbital which is unhybridized, which does not take place in hybridization, right? So on this molecule, on this carbon atom, we have one unhybridized p orbital. On this carbon atom we have one unhybridized p orbital. So both these unhybridized p orbital will undergo a sidewise overlapping, right? When we have a sidewise overlapping, what we have is a pi bond, right? So in this double bond, one is a sigma bond, right? In this we have one sigma bond and one pi bond, and it is due to this pi bond that we have restricted rotation, right, which give rise to geometrical isomers, right? Now let's look into it, why the rotation is hindered. This is your, let me write down I'm writing down the electronic configuration of carbon to just give you a little background of hybridization. And this is your 1s, this is your 2px, 2py and 2pz, right? 2pz is empty. So in hybridization we have a promotion concept where one electron is promoted from 1s to 2pz. What it will form is, now we have electron in the 2pz orbital as well. Now in hybridization, in sp2 hybridization, we have one s orbital, one s orbital and two p orbitals. So this is how 1s, 2px, 2py, 2pz, these two will undergo sp2 hybridization. These two will undergo your sp2 hybridization, and you can see this 2pz orbital has not taken part in hybridization, right? So this p orbital, 2pz orbital, is unhybridized. This is unhybridized, right? And on both the carbon atoms we have this type of unhybridized p orbital, right, that will undergo a sidewise overlapping to form a pi bond, right? Like this. This is your, both these are 2pz orbitals, right? You have BA, AB. Like this, right? So this second bond is due to the sidewise overlapping between these two p orbitals, right? And this pi bond is due to sidewise overlapping, right? Since this is how it will undergo a sidewise overlapping, right? Now imagine if I rotate this bond, if I try to rotate this bond, if I rotate this bond, this overlapping will get removed, right? There is this overlapping will lessen, right? It will lessen, or it will altogether, there will be no overlapping, right? So when there is no overlapping, that means this pi bond will break. If this pi bond will break, this molecule is no more stable. This molecule will become unstable, right? So to break this pi bond, right, generally the energy required is 215 kilojoules, right? This is how the energy that is required, right, to break a pi bond, 215 kilojoules per mole. And normally this much of energy is not available, right? 215 kilojoules per mole of energy is not available normally, right? So this rotation is hindered, right, due to the presence of pi bond, right? It's because in order to rotate a molecule, right, an unsaturated molecule that has a pi bond between, you need to give this much amount of energy, right, which is normally not present, right? You have to externally supply energy, that means, right? Or in case of reactions, when this much energy is available, then only this molecule or this bond will rupture or break, right? So due to, now you can imagine, since this rotation is hindered, right, this rotation is hindered or restricted, right, so the position of other atoms connected to these carbon atom will remain fixed in position, it will not change, right? Similarly, if you have other set of isomer, right, in the same way, if I have this isomer BA, right, here also you have one pi bond, so this molecule can also cannot rotate around carbon carbon double bond due to the presence of this pi bond, right? So this is, so here also the position of these atoms will remain fixed, right? Here position of atoms is fixed, here position of atom is fixed. So this configuration is, so this is one type of configuration, right? This is another type of configuration, right? And both these configurations are stable, right? Both these configurations are stable due to restricted rotation around carbon carbon double bond. Why? Due to the presence of this pi bond, because when you rotate this pi bond, if you suppose you have to rotate across around this carbon carbon double bond, this will lead to the rupture of this pi bond, right? And rupture of this pi bond requires 215 kilojoules per mole of energy, and normally this much of energy is not available, right? So the rotation is hindered, right? I hope this is clear. So this give rise to geometrical isomers. So these two are geometrical isomers, two different configurations that are stable, and these two, due to these different configurations, you have different set of, these two are different, altogether different compounds, right, that have different physical and chemical properties. So these geometrical isomers possess different melting point, boiling point, dipole moments, right? Therefore, they can be separated by ordinary techniques such as fractional distillation, chromatography, because of their different melting and boiling points, right? Let's take down some points. These geometrical isomers have different melting point, boiling point, right, dipole moments, right? So these can be separated from one another, and they have similar but not identical properties. Remember, they have similar but not identical properties. What it means is if I have one type of isomer, a cis isomer, a maleic acid, which is a cis isomer, if I talk about this isomer, right, this is maleic acid, right? And there is another isomer of this similar compound, which is your fumaric acid. Here you have this is the cis form, right, where at the same side of the carbon carbon double bond you have similar groups, carboxylic groups, right, and similar atoms, hydrogen atoms. You have same groups and atoms at the same side of the carbon atom. In another form, what I'll do is, this is another form. This is your fumaric acid. These two are geometrical isomers or stereoisomers, right? And this is your cis form, this is your trans form, right? One thing I forget to tell you, that the configuration, this configuration where you have same atoms across carbon-carbon double bond, right? Across carbon-carbon double bond you have same atoms. So this configuration is your cis configuration. Cis means same. Same atoms are at the same side of the double bond. Here at the same side of the double bond you have different atoms. So this configuration where similar atoms are opposite, right, and different atoms are at the same side of the double bond, right, this is your trans form. Trans means opposite. So basically you see that the similar atoms in trans form is opposite to one another. Here in cis form similar atoms are at the same side of the double bond. So this is your cis form where you have same atoms at the same side of the carbon-carbon double bond. This is your trans form where you have same atoms at opposite to one another, right? So this is your cis and trans form, and this isomerism, these two isomers are cis and trans isomerism, and this is phenomena is known as cis trans isomerism, right? And while, like I was saying, they have similar but not identical chemical properties. Like these two are, this is the cis isomer, this is the trans isomer, right? And they have, if you heat this, you will not get fumaric anhydride, but if you heat this, right, this will undergo a removal of water, right? A water molecule will get removed and this will change into your maleic anhydride, right? So this form will change into your maleic anhydride. From here water molecule will get removed, right? Like this. This is your maleic anhydride, right? Fumaric anhydride is not formed, maleic anhydride is formed, right? So that's what it means. Now, like I said in the beginning, that this type of isomerism is also found in those compounds that have double bond between carbon and nitrogen, or double bond between nitrogen atoms, right? You can see these two are also examples of cis and trans isomer. This is a cis form where you have methyl group on the same side of the carbon-carbon double bond. This is your trans form where you have similar atoms on the opposite side. So these are your cis trans isomers. Now compounds like benzaldoxime, right, ketoxymes and aldoxymes, where you have like this, right, carbon nitrogen double bond, right, and here you have hydrogen, here you have OH, and here you have lone pair of electrons, right? You can see here you have hydrogen and OH, right? You have on the same side of the carbon nitrogen bond, right? In another form you have hydrogen and oxygen, hydrogen and OH on the opposite side. So this is your trans isomer, right? So cis, in this case cis is known as syn, right, and this is again your lone pair, right? Here you have hydrogen and OH opposite side, so this is your anti and this is your syn, right? So cis, this is like syn where you have H and OH on the same side, right? These are your ketoxymes and aldoxymes, which are formed by reaction between aldehydes and your hydroxylamine, or ketones or hydroxylamine, right? Similarly, you have azobenzene, right? Azobenzene also, where you have benzyl group at the